A key development factor for any country's economy is her human resource. Cameroon has 24 or so million people. If you take out the very elderly or the very young, you are left with a less than 30% labor force. 30,000 of these vibrant and able young Cameroonians are incarcerated in the 79 penitentiary institutions across the national territory. The state spends millions of francs CFA annually on the penitentiary system aimed at rehabilitating inmates. Christian Achaleke is the national coordinator for the local youth corner Cameroon. Together with his team, they have developed the Creative Skills for Peace project, designed to help inmates of our penitentiary system to become economically beneficial to themselves and the state. The project has achieved international repute, earning him the Luxembourg Peace Prize for 2018 amongst other accolades. Christian is a young man from Fiango Kumba, a notorious neighborhood in the minds of many. His story is a testament of the human's ability to take their mundane circumstances and turn into a magical peace. To elevate oneself from a demeaning environment and build a palace through hard work and sacrifice. Today, I visited their office in Yaoundé to see firsthand the work done by him and his team and the multiplier effects of the Creative Skills for Peace project. The trophies on the shelf are an elegant representation of the journey they began only a few years ago and for which they are prepared to go to the last mile. I saw firsthand the creativity of the inmates if they can only be challenged to use their hands and minds to make contributions towards emergence. From prison libraries, computer labs, and practical workshops, the Creative Skills for Peace project is empowering and enabling significant portions of Cameroon's labor force to rise up to the challenges of now. The economic value of these inmates cannot be overemphasized, but even more compelling to me is the subtle message that we can elevate ourselves beyond our prevailing circumstances. Come now, let us talk to the man who is showing us how.
So here we are at the top of the hill in the city of 7 hills in Yaoundé with Christian Achaleke. I told you earlier that your reputation precedes you. We've seen you in a lot of places. But looking at your biography, there's one thing that strikes me, very outstanding. It's your upbringing and your background. From Fiango, it's like almost everywhere you go, you emphasize that fact. I am from Fiango. So tell me, why is it important to you, this background, especially in line with what you do now?
Well, I think the background is very important because it actually inspires what I am today. It is actually my source of strength. Because can you imagine you grow up in a community where for you to be able to get a job, you have to change your birth certificate from, say you were born in Fiango to born in Boya. Because just because of the fact that you are from there, people think you are either violent, people think you are either a 419er, people think you are a criminal. So that is how we grew up. And we grew up seeing our brothers going through that stress. So many of them ran abroad because they could not be very comfortable. And growing up in that community where I lived it on hand, and I know what it means to actually fight on the street because I fought on the street. I know what it means to punch, I know what it means, and all of these things actually I took it as an opportunity to use it to inspire my life. And today I work in the space of peace and security, how we can engage young people, because I start from myself first to say that if I was able to stop, you know, not fomenting violence, I think it's because of something. And what is that something? Opportunity, capacity building, you know, sensitization. So why can't I be able to carry this same message to my fellow peers who are victims of these circumstances? Because in most cases, it's issue around, you know, poor upbringing from the family. Our parents do not do their job and all of those kind of things, poverty, unemployment, education. So I took myself, I said, it is very important I engage in this conversation and also always make people remember where I'm from. Because a lot of us young people, we forget about where we are from, and that's why we find ourselves in trouble. And I always refer to it because I want to inspire my peers who are back home, who are still engaged in these activities, to know there is hope. because I see myself as a hopeful young man who was crazy, but someone said, oh, you can become better because in you, God has given you something that makes you different. So I always refer to it because I want it to be a brand. And I believe it's already a brand because there are many young people today who are musicians, TZ Panchako and many others who are successful from Kumba. And I think it's a good tiding of source message that we must carry.
I grew up fighting that.
So you can best relate.
I think the first time in 2008 when the uprising was around, I was in Fiango one of those days and it was crazy out there.
I lost very close friends during that period.
It was hard.
yeah, thank you.
But you are in business that reputation is very necessary. Reputation is good in all aspects of business. But then you are in a sector where people judge you by what you can deliver. And sometimes your background is one of the things that comes up first. Now, what business model have you adopted? Because we've been able to see your accolades and the things that you have done thus far. What have you been able to do to be successful in business, even though you're from this background?
I think it's consistency. I'm sure the first day that a lot of people heard that I was from Fiango, everything I was saying was wrong to them because they knew I may be lying. Because it's a trend. But I had to stay consistent in the messaging. Very consistent and improve. Because even in my home, my dad was not sure what I was doing. Because he was expecting that I have to travel abroad. He was expecting that I should write a NAM. He was expecting that I should become a teacher. But I had to reach all of those to follow a path which I knew would not just be for me, but would be to change a perspective. And that consistency was the first aspect. The second aspect is trying to see how I build a team. So it's not all about me. It's about building a team and relying on mentors. So I have people that I look up to that every day I have a stress, I reach up to, I said, what do you think? I have this idea, what do you think? And I have a team that we play the football match together. I call them my Barcelona team. And they see me as Lionel Messi because I score the goals. But it's not all about me. It's because they give me the passes and that's why I'm able to score. So I might take the credit, but it's the team that does the work. And it's a team that is very young. And that's another thing which is very important. And sometimes people are not able to match my age and what I do. And fortunately enough, God gave me bald head at my early age. So sometimes when I speak in places, people respect because they think I'm old. But my age, sometimes they say, is it that young? But that age aspect also goes to inspire them to say, it means that you can make it. And God is the overreaching aspect in my career, in my work. I rely on Him, He inspires me, I speak to Him, I have religious mentors who speak to me and guide me very effectively. And now the quality of the product, our product are the services that we provide. So the quality of the services which we provide now keeps us relevant. And these services that we provide, we struggle as much as possible, firstly to be very apolitical, secondly to have a humanist heart, where sometimes we have to work 20 hours just to be able to deliver these services. And the third thing is being real, being yourself, being humble, being connected to people. I think this is what has been able to keep that message very accurate and has been able to take us this far. So, and that's how we are able to do the job.
The business environment in Cameroon is very difficult, from government policy to insecurity to corruption. The things are lining up against each other. Now you're in business in a sector that is even tougher. In your creative skills project, to work with inmates in a penitentiary system and try to rehabilitate them and make society be able to accommodate them again once they leave prison. This has to be difficult work for anyone. Talk less of someone who grew up in Fiango, talk less of someone who is young and with very little government support. How have you been able to market the Creative Skills Project to the extent that it has international recognition?
Well, I think that the first thing is where Creative Skills started from. So Creative Skills actually is inspired by my past and the past of some of my colleagues, where we grew up in places we did very wrong things, but we were fortunate not to go to jail. Some died along the road. but we're fortunate to go to jail because someone gave us an opportunity to become better.
Yeah.
In a context where we know some people, young people get into violence, not because of their own, doing, but circumstances. Some is because they don't have jobs, they have gone to school, they have degrees. We are not justifying it, but we are saying that we can give them an alternative. And instead for us to talk and talk, now we walk the talk. To say that if I want to tell a young person that please don't pick up this spoon, I should be able to give him a fork. So, and that's why our team said, let's do this thing. And in 2015, after I was named the Cameroon Young Person of the Year, and I was given some financial resources to do work. And this morning, I was young, I was very vibrant, I could have used to buy a car.
You go someplace.
Go somewhere and enjoy. So when I came back and I put my team together and said, this money we need to invest in a project. And some were like, let's do a party. I said, no partying. Let's invest. So we did the pilot of Creative Skills of Peace project with little or no money. And we did it in Boston Institute in Boya. The results were very inspiring. And we kept talking about it in other places. And some people said, this is a good idea. Why not remodel it? So later we remodeled it and then we applied for a challenge, which we had 660 applicants globally. And we were among the 5, and we were even profiled by Forbes magazine because of how creative it was. And so the Creative Skills for Peace project started from that passion, that originality, that providing solution to the problem. I mean, a problem which even the state finds it difficult to provide because of, the economic crisis and all of that. A place where many young people think is deserted. But when I visited prison, they were all my friends. Some of them would call me holy. They used to call me holy criminal when I was growing up. And later it was changed to holy because I was changing as the process was going. And they called me, and someone said, holy, man, you don't come, we'll do this thing together. And they were very excited to see their peers. So in the business where we are, it was very difficult to even get access. But using evidence of the possibility of this project to change the face of the country, to be able to generate income to the state, and to ensure that these young people, when they go out, will not face problems because we've been able to change them. The government said, okay, fine, let's see how we do this, we can give you access. And they gave us access. We were able to have some funding, which was a good amount to be able to do the project. And we won it after a challenge. So it's not something which it was through lobbying, it was through begging, it was through corruption. The process to which it was given was true and a free and fair process. Now, when we have these resources, we go to the government, we say, we are not asking you for money. We just need access to go to this prison. We just need some 1 or 2 of your experts to accompany us. The Minister of Youth said yes. The Minister himself gave us some recognition, and we signed some partnerships, and then later we went to justice, and then we went into prisons working. And it was difficult because we started with few prisons, because the state was expecting to see if we are different, because they said a lot of people have gone to prison and they take pictures and go and look for money and they run away. But our model is sustainable because it's designed to run for 2 years. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we are an expert organization with experience working with former Boko Haram and former ISIS for the services that we provide. So we are sure of what we were able to provide to this community because we understand what violence is. The team is not from aristocratic homes. There's none of us that we have a parents who is minister. We are all from local communities, from Nyandong, from this, and we find ourselves together and we are working. So that originality keeps us in business. The next thing is because we are all young people. So we are engaged in a peer educators approach. So when we go to prison, that inmate sees you, you are also a young person, you are not an old man that maybe had been accused of stealing government money or whatsoever. But it's youth, and our stories are the same. So we are able to communicate. You get the point. And when we go into these prisons, it was lovely. The program the way in which we designed it, we brought in sports, we brought in entrepreneurship development, we brought in vocational skills, we brought in peace building, we brought in leadership and other facets, which we were very sure that will be able to prepare these young people psychosocially, empower them financially, and brand them to what we are calling today prisonpreneurs.
That's very excellent. But when you talk, I hear you say a lot about the process. And this only started in 2015, from what you say. And we're in 2018. 3 years down the line. For a lot of people, that's a short time. And for some, it's a lifetime to be able to put hard work in it. But I think that you have put in place processes and you've been able to follow a certain procedure to be able to come out on top. What are these processes? What are your core values that you respect and live up to be able to have or run a successful business venture?
In that process, mentorship. became very important. I was looking up to those who are already in the space, and they would tell me some of the challenges which they face. So there's no need for me to fall into that same problem. They will guide me a lot, and they'll tell you, oh, you need to be very prayerful because the terrain is very rough. You know, it's a non-for-profit, and a lot of bad mentality around non-for-profits. And you know, the age of social entrepreneurship, you need to transform and do it this way. And that's how the process became. And learning, 2013, then the board of directors said, oh, Christian, you've been with us for a long time, you've mastered it, let's make you the deputy national coordinator. We had no office then. So, and I just moved to Yaoundé. They used to be in my house. They'll come to my house and we meet. In 2014, we did our first documentary, which was a crazy thing. I sat on someone's computer that I begged because I didn't have one, and I was able to do the editing. And the pressure was coming from my home because my parents were seeing me growing old and I have nothing to offer. I said, oh, I don't want to go to the US. I said, I don't want to go. What am I going to do there? But you see, but I told my dad I'll be able to do it my own way. And in the process, I started meeting my team. I started meeting people who saw the same vision that I had. And that is how we moved. So it is not my grace to be able to be where I am today or where we are, but it is the grace of people who share the same vision and God, which is the ultimate foundation that we're able to raise, and the people that speak to us. You know, I have mentors of all sorts. Mentors who mentor me just on speaking, mentors who mentor me on just on smiling, mentors who mentor me on praying. So, and these are things that sometimes people who have been in this space for a long time but maybe have not gotten to this level, maybe that's what they minimized. They minimize the power of teamwork. In our country, we have that tendency of not being humble. So humility was that next thing. So in 2014, and the state decided, and when I was named one of the Common Youth Ambassadors in the country, giving me a status to serve the country, to represent young people abroad, which was a lot of accolades. You were respected and all of that. But I took it as an opportunity to learn. And I served as mobilizer for the Ministry of Youth Affairs for a long time, where they'll call me, Christian, can you bring us young people? I'll mobilize street children, I'll mobilize everyone, and they will come there. Someone will look at it and say, oh, they have not given you money, so why are you mobilizing? I said, no, I don't care. I'm building that learning process. And that's how I engaged my team. Gradually, they were learning, and we got to this level. And the first time which I traveled was in 2013. And as of 2013 to now, I'm losing counts of travels. The traveling part of it is not important, but the message to our peers is, in every opportunity that you get, you need to strike hard there. Provide evidence, the next day they will call you. And that's why since 2015 in my career, I've never applied for a meeting. But I travel almost every month as an expert to go and provide services. And that is how my team is growing. One of my colleagues is currently in Ghana, and that's how they are learning that process of humility, moral and ethical values. In our space, you meet a lot of young girls, beautiful. If you are not careful, you find yourself in that problem. So you need to be able to curtail that. There's a lot of bad advice. Oh, get into this sect. Some people say, oh, you have succeeded because you're in a sect. But they forget that background. The background is a Fiango background, very humble, where even in the madness, we'll go to Catholic Church. Even in the madness, we'll move our massive and rob, and then we'll go on the street and we're fighting. But there was that connection that we had. So in this business, we've been able to go far because of these strategies that we've been able to put forth, where it has built trust. It has put us in platforms which myself sometimes I am surprised. My dad will call and say, was that you I saw? You know, and people on Facebook will say, is this the smart that we need to know? Because educationally I was nowhere to be found. Form 1 I had 6 average, and Form 2 I had 7 average, and I had to repeat. And when I repeated, that's when I came to my center. I said, I need to work hard. But in all the process, I graduated right at the university. I had a 2.4 GPA. But I'm sure when I go back to University of Boya, now I've been recruited as a lecturer. And this is a young person that had 2.4 GPA. So it's not about education. It's about the capacity that God has given you. And we have been able to tap, and every member in my team that I will never stop talking about them are tapping this. And that support now comes from the international work that we've been able to do. Currently, I'm a consultant for the Commonwealth Secretariat. I'm a member of the UN Interagency Working Group on Youth Peace and Security. So I cut across many, many platforms, and sometimes the success does not just come with the team I have here in the office or in Cameroon, but the people I've been able to work globally, the countries which I've been able to visit and provide solutions to, the states that I've been able to share ideas with, and international organizations. That is what I've been able to keep that team. And I think if every young person does that in their own way, not in my way, they're going to make it.
Okay, before we go, I saw you on a photo with Prince Harry, and you're wearing a very nice shirt. I tried to get one for myself. I wish I wore it today. But I saw you with Prince Harry, and I've seen you with the Queen, and you've been in these places. And you talk about in Cameroon, sometimes the tendency is, okay, join a sect. When we talk about mentorship, most often, especially with practice in business in Cameroon, the people want you to get a ring, do something, and join us in this way that we're doing business. How do you climb up the corporate ladder or the social ladder without mixing politics, the intrigues of everyday Cameroon local life, to lead a purely clean and successful business venture? And how do you represent that to the international community in a way that they keep coming back to you and say, we can trust Christian on this?
I think the first thing which is very important, you have to be yourself.
Okay.
And never forget where you are from.
Mm-hmm.
In Fiango, even if your father is a minister, you must be humble. Because if you are not humble, the boys will make you humble.
For
if
sure.
you have a new phone and you want to pride yourself, they'll take it away from you. So we grew up in that spirit. And we grew up not knowing about, oh, you have to join something to succeed, even though you hardly see people who succeeded. But the first thing is being real. I had an upbringing, my parents actually took their time, despite the crazy things I could do, to advise that be careful, do not do this, do not do that.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Catholic, and at one point in time in my high school, I wanted to become a priest. Because I realized that I'd had a connection of talking to people, I could pray, I could speak to God, you know. That is what actually kept it.
Yeah.
So the originality of it actually keeps you away from problem. And the kind of mentors you identify. You identify mentors that sees you as a resource as well. Not a mentor that sees you as, I'll push you around anywhere. So I took my time to identify people who are mentors, not necessarily because you are a minister. No, and that's where we make a mistake. In picking mentors. You pick a mentor that you see something in him that is valued, and you focus on that one thing and forget about the other. If he's in a court and he's your mentor, but if he has one thing which is a good thing, focus on that and keep that one aside, and you have to know how you engage. The second thing is egoism. Our generation, there's a lot of egoism. Maybe because of the poverty that we face. But this is local corner that did not have a budget of $100, 100,000 francs. But today, we have been able to rise to many more millions to be able to sustain the venture. So that egoism part of it has to be curtailed, because sometimes money, power is used to pull you closer to some of the bad things. It might be in corruption, it might be in drugs. And I live a life of problems, violence, 419ing. I grew up, I saw it, I lived it. And I cannot go back to that. And I saw myself becoming a hero of myself and my family, and maybe to the people I work with, because I took the right path. So there is no need to go through that wrong path. But it's very difficult to sustain it. And that is why young people must take their time to hold God very closely, to take their time to look into people they call their mentors and where they get into with a more religious and spiritual, you know, understanding of where they are finding themselves into. The road is very rugged. People will give you bad advice. People will tell you to do doki and all of those things. But if you look at the money, you find yourself in trouble. I don't have money. I work all the time that I have to work. We manage, you push things. You have seen our office, a small space, not the biggest table that you can see and all of those things, because we believe in humble beginning. The most important thing is the services that you provide, or the products that you put out there. There are a lot of amazing young people out there that I learned from. So my mentors are not just old, they are also young people who are my mentors. And another thing which is very important, as you are mentored, be ready to mentor people. And that's why I've been able to put myself open. My team, I've told them, put yourselves open, never complicate my life for me. Someone should not try to get to me and say, oh, he's busy, he's sleeping. You call me 2 a.m, I'm able to pick my call. You write to me on Facebook, we communicate, and all of that. I think that is what has been able to keep us free from it. Because there are some people who pray for us and we don't know. There are some people who are watchdogs. There are several times people have written to me on Facebook and say, Christian, be careful about this thing. And before God and before man, their judgment was very right. So it's very important that we keep very open, very natural, very clear. And that's why today we work in prisons, and we are happy to see their products. Meeting Prince Harry was not bypassing. It was the second time. The first time we met, it was an engaging conversation, and he was happy to see that, oh, I'm dressed in an outfit made by prisoners. And when we spoke about it, he said, ah, Christian, what you are doing is very interesting. And you know, Daily Mail in the UK actually quoted the conversation we had, where he told Megan that Christian is putting medicine into the wounds, not putting plaster on the wound. And then he turned to Megan and then smiled. And later when we met the second time, and in the conversation, that was the first thing he asked me, Christian, how are those people? I said they are doing fine. They are very happy that they saw you acclaim their product. And the essence of that was to inspire them that even if you're in prison in Cameroon, your products can change the test of time in the world. We've had 2 exhibitions globally. Recently we're in Luxembourg where we showcased the product. We made an amazing sales, and the Cameroonian community in Luxembourg really supported us, and they're working on setting up a concert for us. Currently we have a client in Jamaica who wants to be able to purchase this product and set up a shop in Jamaica for these prison products. And what I want the world to know, these products, the proceeds are not for us. The way in which Creative Skills has been designed, each inmate has a bank account in our program.
That's an interesting one.
And the proceeds that we make, we share it in 2 ways. Part goes to the inmates for upkeep, part goes into your account. Because the project has a model that after 2 years of implementation, those who are released will receive them. We have what we call the accelerator, and prepare them for more training, and we set up their own business with their savings that they have been able to make. It has been very difficult, especially for people who some of them do not know what a bank account is. We've taken time to explain to them that they have to be responsible. It's not just about having money, but they need to be responsible. So when we go out there and showcase this product, it is not for our own grandeurs, it is not for our own aggrandizement, but it is for them. To an extent where we met, well-to-do young Cameroonians abroad, they have said, Christian, we want to give you money. I said, no, don't give us the money, buy their products.
Thank you very much. Christian Achaleke, people, the important thing is the service you provide. Rising from the hot streets of Yango Kumba, you should be there if you haven't been, to understand the story of this young man who is making strides in prisonpreneurship. Sir, on your Creative Skills project, to these young boys and girls in our prison system, what are you saying to them before we go?
Well, I'm saying to them that I'm very, very happy that they have decided to become better, and that they are giving all their time and they are so passionate about it. I am promising them that we are not going to leave them, and that we are not going to end by only local youth corner working in prison, but we'll be able to inspire many institutions, many young people, and even change the mind of the state on how they have been able to allocate resources to ensure that their lives will be better in prison and out of prison, because they are young people, and I believe that young people are ambassadors of peace, are not agents of violence.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the Tipping Point. You can follow us online on the links that you would see under there. We didn't even put Christian's address, website. You can check it on there and get to them. Thank you very much, sir, for having been here.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you as a guest on Tipping Point today.
Thank you.
Keep doing good work, and hopefully a lot more people from Fiango will get here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. To all my people in Fiango, welcome. God bless you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.